All right, so good morning, everyone. At least here for you live viewers. I know some of those of you that may catch this on a replay. Depends on what time you're actually tuning in. I really wanted to give a just a quick introduction, but also just somewhat of a forecast of some of the things that are to come as it pertains to this platform, as it pertains to my writing, and even potentially um, some personal goings on that I may share here within my writing, within some of the content that I put out. First and foremost, as you see in my bio, 20 plus years, or right at 20 years of non monogamous experience as an individual. I started out back in 2006 with my very first male female threesome. Quite the experience. Fast forward to, I want to say a few months later, maybe it was the following year, where I had my first male, so myself, my girlfriend at the time, and another guy that was actually a friend of mine. After that, we actually dove a little bit deeper, and we had some individuals that were couples, and we decided to do the couples thing. And it sparked from us allowing, and it's interesting, we allowed a friend to move in with us. Now, the friend that we allowed to move in with us, she and I actually had a thing a few years prior. And I had told my girlfriend about her, and she really didn't like the girl. We saw her at the club one night. She audaciously came up to me and touched my hand while I was standing with my girlfriend. Very audacious. And my girlfriend got a little upset after I explained to her who she was. But as time passed, things settled. And ultimately, we got to the point where this girl became a friend. She fell on hard times and she ultimately moved in with us. And after she moved in with us, we enjoyed the situation. Let's just put it at that for now. We enjoyed the situation. We enjoyed her on a few occasions. And whenever she was dating a couple different fellas, the first guy being a police officer. When she was dating him, we ended up having a couples swapping night, I guess you would say, swinger night, where we took turns back and forth with each other's girlfriends, going back to ours. And I can definitely share more detail at another time on how that went, but it was quite the beautiful occasion. And we did similar, maybe a few months later. She had broken up with this guy, she had another boyfriend. Did the same thing with him. Um, Nice occasion, very nice. I cannot complain whatsoever with the times that we had in those couples experiences. Moving forward, we started to dabble with playing alone. So I would go and I would have my fun with a girl that I met, that I discussed with my girlfriend at the time, and she agreed it was okay, and vice versa, where she'd meet a guy and we'd discuss, we'd agree that it's okay, and she would go and have her fun. So we mixed up the ways by which we um, enjoyed these festivities over the years, and throughout the time, we got looser and looser with our rules. Whereas things were very rigid initially because we were new to it, and we didn't want to cause any unnecessary conflict. So we were very rigid with our rules, but eventually we loosened our rules up to where she could just meet a guy on a whim and do her thing and check in with me afterwards. And then the same with me. So fast forward, we had already decided we were going to get married, but we went ahead and got married, and um, we stopped the lifestyle, so to say, after marriage, and there was no more for a good 10 years or so. So we married 2011 officially, and we're officially divorced in 2021. So literally, about a month apart, 10 years and a month apart or so. Anyways, that happened. Went through a divorce, and I went back out to the playing field. Really wasn't the same, obviously, as it was 10 years prior, but I eventually did fall into a new relationship. It was a long distance relationship, albeit. And after knowing one another for probably about 8 months, after officially being a couple for 4 months, we began our non monogamous adventure. And ultimately, it was a beauty. It worked out well for us while we were enjoying it. And eventually, other things happened outside of that space that caused us to eventually separate. But it was a beautiful thing to, for me, and also for her to see that we can love one another, we can come to one another on a daily basis, but also whenever we have that urge and we're not together, and or we want to experience variety, we act on it and we enjoy it, and then we come back and we share it with one another. Now, that was my life up until 2023. Had a separation, reunited with this individual in 2025 at a friendship capacity. But we haven't gotten back into any type of connected, non monogamous type of activity beyond just, being friends. And her life has shifted. But as of late, and maybe I'll go more into detail, I'm sure I'll go more into detail about this later. As of late, I've met someone new as of April the 14th, to be specific. And they've given me various new perspectives by which to look at so much of what I have done in the past and what I can do in the future. They've given me the perspective of not remaining so stuck in that which you have experienced, and look at that which you desire to experience, even if it doesn't even look like what you've experienced before. And I'll kind of wind down. I don't want to go too deep today. I'll kind of wind down with one example. So there's an individual by the name of Dr. Zana Vringalova, Zhana Vrangalova. I don't want to try to spell her last name for you, but Dr. Zana Vrangalova, she was, I'm not sure if she still is or not, a professor at New York University on human sexuality, something along those lines. And she was one of the first educators that I ran into that um, had a positive outlook on, that did education around non monogamy. And I learned a lot from her. This was after I'd already experienced maybe 12, 13 years of non monogamy in my personal life. This was the first time that I intentionally started digging into the education around non monogamy, the various different types of non monogamy, why some people throw ethical, as I have, on the front of non monogamy because, so many people automatically hear non monogamy and think promiscuity. They automatically assume, okay, if you're not with one person, that means you're cheating. So I started learning from her, and I got to the point where I realized, you know what, there's so much to be learned in this space. But also, one of the things about her that I admire is she was, throughout the entirety of me knowing about her work, she was highly non-monogamous, and she made it very clear that that is the lifestyle that she chooses. But then there came a point when she met a guy and she went on a monogamy journey. And initially, I'm like, hold up now. You are the non monogamous professional. You're Miss Non Monogamy. That's how I looked at her, at least at the time. But I had to realize that we all evolve. Just because we were into something yesterday doesn't mean we're going to be into it today. Just because something brought us joy yesterday doesn't mean that it should bring us joy today. And oftentimes, what we tend to do is we bring past associations into the here and now, and we we unintentionally, indirectly sacrifice that which can bless and can bring us bliss in the future because we're trapped in the past, wanting to relive the past with someone new. While that someone new could be taking us to the future that we truly desire. So, as you guys listen to me, whoever is still with me in the audience, feel free to drop a question, a statement, a comment revolving around how you feel, what your feelings are with non-monogamy. Have you felt the same way for an extended period of time, and or have you understood the necessity to flow with evolution? You can drop that in the comments after you watch the replay, after this post. I will let this post live. We will be, or I will be, doing future lives where only paid subscribers will have access, where I will open my camera. It will be a little bit more intimate. But ultimately, this is the message for today, and I hope it brought some value to some of you. For those of you who are watching the recording, I hope that it brings value to you. And please do not hesitate to drop a comment, to give some pushback, to ask a question. Whatever you feel that comes to you, feel free. Don't hold back. And until the next time, you all stay well and fuck societal expectations. Live your best life.